press go live. You recording over there already?
Yeah, just so she can cut out whatever she needs to.
So you good?
Testing one, testing one. Can you hear me? We're testing. Look at
I'm gonna let you
that.
know that you live when you come on.
Am I supposed to hit the go live button
I believe so.
now?
No, I really, when the countdown is over.
The countdown take you right into it.
Well, are you good then? You got it. You know more than I do. I ain't never just counted down.
This is my first time, so we know.
Can we pray?
Father God, we just thank you for this opportunity. We just thank you, Father God, for this gathering. We thank you, Father God, for everything that's about to be said, Father God. We thank you for my sisters in the studio, Father God. We thank you for the platform that you have created for them, Father God. I ask that you remove any nervousness, Father God, and allow them to be her authentic self, Father God. And we give you all the glory in advance in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Yes. You're the expert, so you gotta give me signs and stuff.
Hey,
Yeah,
I'm
keep
at
your
home
podcast.
doing this, so it's a whole different thing than being in here with a studio.
So I should go Facebook Live. Could you? You want to record?
I got the tablet recording already for you.
Okay, so we can go live, so there's no internet or nothing.
Okay, hold on, let me grab my phone.
Cut my hair. Should I take my glasses off?
Well, that was cute.
No.
You wanna hook your phone up so you can go live on your phone?
Yeah. How do you tag? Yeah.
Who you wanna tag?
You want to leave radio?
Oh, Believe Radio?
Uh-huh. You probably could do it.
Oh, well, it allows you to tag friends, not groups, I don't think.
Let me see. They gotta see them on. Oh, it's just the people that's on?
Oh, those are just people that are online right now, not watching you or
Okay.
anything like that, yeah, so once you, you can put that RTV or whatever. There you go, Believe Radio. And then, I'll put your phone in here and we'll maneuver it so it's showing you guys and then you can hit the live button. Yeah, I think you checked in at Believe Radio.
It's
Yeah,
not
second.
good.
Believe radio.
Harry, you have something to post mine? Hi, this is your girl Tina Robinson, CEO, founder of Owning My Own Truth Locator Support. I am here with my sister friend, Tanya Corda, at Lead Radio Station, 24 hours, inspirational and gospel music.
You can put your phone right there, and it'll record.
Yeah, that way it can, the angle on this ain't really too good, so it's got you.
You
Okay.
just got me?
Well, right now, yeah.
Okay.
Let's see if I can get her on. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Don't let us get you, but we got this, it's recording, so.
Okay. Hey. Hello, everyone. It's your girl Nina Carter on Believe Radio. I'm here with my sister Tina Robinson. We are at Believe Radio Nelson BDS radio station. This is a 24-hour inspirational and gospel radio show. Today we are talking about healthy relationships, how to maintain healthy relationships. So today I have Tina Robinson of Owning My Own Truth as my guest. This is my sister girlfriend. We have been doing community outreach work for quite a few events and for quite a few years now, and I just wanted to bring her on as my first guest to give her her flowers because she works hard. I mean, her heart is for the community. Monday through Sunday, you see her out doing outreach, feeding the homeless, doing gift bags. I mean, she has so much going on within a community. So, and because the name of her organization is Owning My Own Truth, that's something that is always resonating with me, because oftentimes we think living a lie is more prevalent than living our truth. So just the name of her organization and her living up to that name has had me as one of her, even though she called herself one of my mentees, I have been admiring the work that she does and her sticking with her truth. So I'm gonna ask her to tell us a little bit about herself.
I'm gonna cry.
Okay.
We thank you for having me here. It is an honor and giving all grace to God. Lord God, I ask that you speak through me to be transparent. And the question is?
Well, I just want you to tell them who you are. Who is Tina Robinson? And what made you start Owning My Own Truth? So just give us something.
I am Tina Robinson, twin one of Tina and Gina from East Oakland, Brookfield. Hey, I'm weird with the Reverend T.C. and Mother Katie Mae Robinson and my 6 siblings in this East Oakland area. I am a survivor of it all. But what it broke most people has strengthened me. It has given me a purpose in life that encourages me, and I stay motivated. I stay motivated to go serve our communities, no matter what, to go where they are in the midst of their circumstances. In my journey, in my life, judgment was a prisoner for me.
Wow.
Judgment was a prisoner for me until one day I was walking off the curb. I took a step off the curb and I didn't feel my heart.
Wow.
So I felt like I was living without consequences. And in that very moment, I said I had to do something, because I choose no longer to exist in misery.
When you say living without consequences, that just hit deep in my gut. So what did that look like for you?
None. Numbing the hurt of that little girl that was traumatized. She didn't have any concept of what a real relationship was. That little girl had unconditional love, looking beyond one spot to where by not speaking out because of the love for that person, it built up a tolerance to dysfunction.
That takes me back to, I was studying on the mama womb, and it took me back to that place where even as adults, how that the 8-year-old in me that experienced trauma, I felt at that age, I experienced abandonment. So at that 8-year-old girl was really leading my adult life. And I never ever understood why I made so many bad decisions, or why anytime, tried, my heart began to feel and I felt weak or vulnerable or in those type of situations, I had to put up this wall or mask it because I really didn't know how to process those feelings. So when you say that, living without consequences, it took me down a road where I had no brakes. So, I just wanted to jump in right there. So just based on that, that just make your services different from a lot of the organizations that we normally frequent in this non-profit world when we're trying to give back. I often say when I'm out there in that community, I'm giving out of what I didn't have. You know, so when I service people, it's not from the format of the organization. I'm not going by y'all rules protocol,
Right.
but this is a lifestyle for me because
Right.
I feel like if I had it, you know, as a teenager, a lot of the things that I allowed myself to get into, it wouldn't be. So that's why I admire your organization, because you go to the gutter. You know what I'm saying? You on the gutter. So just tell me about your experiences being out there in them homeless encampments and, you know, loving on the people and taking pictures. Just tell me how that edifies you, because you do it time and time again.
First of all, I do ask for permission from the people.
Amen.
My heart was really hit. I went to 98 and I fed my people. I seen some people that I hadn't seen in 16 years, and I was dropping off groceries as well. And I hit this one block and something said, pull over. And I seen two gentlemen on a block. I got out, I asked them if they wanted something to eat. And as I approached the car, a young girl popped up.
Out of tip?
Out of the car.
Oh, wow.
She couldn't hardly walk. And she had on these little shorts. I said, who hurt you? And her eyes just swelled up. Who hurt me? Like, who didn't hurt me?
Right.
I said, I'm here for you. And she was like, well, I want you to take me somewhere. I'm like, listen, I can only take you somewhere if you're going to get help. But I cannot jeopardize, you know, my safety. Because those two guys, you know, like, the way she was walking and the way she looked, I could feel the punches. I could hear her screaming. You know, it might sound unusual, but I have that gift. I can feel when people are being hurt. I couldn't even sleep that night, you know, but I gave her my number. If you're serious, if you really want help, call me. But being out there and connecting with my brothers and sisters, I remember in this particular community going to elementary school, and a lot of the OGs, the cool guys, was there when I was going to elementary school. They still there. They lost their matriarch of their family. They've been outcast. They've been just thrown away. Oh, you tripping, you on drugs, you know, whatever. But when I look at a person who's an addict, an alcoholic, abuse victim, I see the core of them.
The soul.
The core soul of them that never got help to get out.
And that's the reason why I started this radio station, because a lot of times the support we need, we're doing this work, we don't get it. But I wanted people to experience what it's really like when you're trying to service people who have lost hope. So what you're saying is these people have lost hope. And even with you going to offer them assistance, and some of them familiar with who you are and where you came from, they still don't want to take it because so often they get dropped in the middle or during the process. So what keeps you motivated to keep going out there doing it?
I'll say this, when I was younger, my mom used to always hug people, and she would rub them in the small of their back, And I'm the baby, so I was jealous, like, Mama, why you always rubbing on these people? And she said, baby, if they let me get close to them, I'm praying for them. And that same rubbing of the small of the back, I do that for all my children and anybody that allows me to get in their space, because it's healing, you know. So, it's my purpose. It's my assignment. From being spiritually broken, prisoner to my own childish understanding. I was that little girl for a very long time. I had to learn how to walk, talk, and eat again, walk away from drama, talk positive for myself in the face of someone saying, oh, you know, sorry.
Oh, that negative.
Yeah. And realizing when someone is always condoning you, they're deflecting.
Yes. Talk more about that, cause I seen you do a workshop on, deflecting, so could you talk a little more about what that looks like?
Yes, I can. For me, my perspective of deflecting in my life is someone that wants to control you. They want to manipulate you. Someone that deflects how they feel will weaponize you with words. I love you, but don't do nothing.
To prove
Nothing to prove it. But show up. And everything that you do to, hey, I care. I show you I care. The words, that's just words. But I show you I care. And then everything is minimized. And my perspective now is that's control. It's control, you know, to dominate my purpose, you know, to demean my purpose in your life, you know, and I understand it's not about me, it's about whomever you dealt with in your past, because I am amazing. I am an amazing woman.
Yes, you
I
are.
am phenomenal. I am phenomenal, and unfortunately, the experiences I've had with individuals, they couldn't understand it. They couldn't fathom it. So they did everything they could to break me.
To break you. So I'm glad you're still here and you done endured through that process. I was at one of your healing circles and I seen you, minister through, because first of all, I'm led by my spirit. Jesus is the author and finisher of my faith, and that's what I believe, that's what I stand on. And I'm not scared to use his name, and that's what the foundation of his show is built on, Jesus Christ. So I seen you help a woman through taking her through an exercise with a rock. That was the first time I seen that.
Really?
Yeah. So that form of healing, where did that come from for you?
Honestly, I was dealing with a lot, and I was taking a garbage out, and I seen this nice smooth stone on the ground. I walked on the left side of it, and as I was going back in the house, I walked on the right side of it. The Holy Spirit said, pick it up and put it in the Bible. I put it in the Bible for like 2 weeks. David and Goliath. David had 5 stones, but he used 3, right? My Goliaths is depression, doubt, fear, anger, and lack of value.
Wow.
So when I need to feel some kind of way, I go to those stones and rub them and pray for them.
And those are the things that you wrote on those stones to remind you? Or?
No, not those. That's another exercise.
Okay.
Those stones that you seen is called owning my own stones.
Okay.
Oh, you did this. Oh, you did that. You know what? I gave that over to God.
Right.
So I'm not carrying it. So I'm gonna own X, Y, and Z.
All of it.
You know?
Right.
Yes.
So I think that's where I was heading with this show is to be unapologetic with your who you are. So with owning your own truth, it gives you that sense of, because I truly feel we can't heal from what we're not willing to expose.
Right.
And oftentimes just dealing with women, really, being a group facilitator for women, and God called me to women, it's the mask that we hide behind,
Yes.
that we don't even realize that it's open in our actions, in our attitudes, the way we treat people, the way we treat other women, the lack of support, the lack of being able to compliment one another. So those are the type of things that it's harder to live with. You know, because I remember when I didn't love myself and I wasn't happy with myself, first thing I was saying, oh, she ain't cute. Her hair color cute, but I don't like that style. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't value me. So the first thing I learned to do was, you know, I thought it made me feel a certain way to tear another woman down. But in reality, I had to sit with my own self at night and realize that I was hurt and broken. So more of exposing myself and giving myself permission to heal, and really learning who I was in God, you know, who my purpose was and who He was calling me to be, really helped me get free. Because I felt like I lived a lot of my life pleasing people. And it took many years to take those layers of what I thought validated me from, because when you don't know who you are, people will give you identity. You know, and even though it don't feel right in here, you still do it to save face. So even with the familiar things I have seen in you just in certain settings, how people will try to minimize your skills and your gifting, you know, because at the end of the day, they're gonna use it in a different format, or they're gonna rename it. So I done seen situations where I done pulled you to the table and said, shut that down. You know what I'm saying? Because when you say you can identify with somebody you know been hurt, based on your experience with being hurt, I could identify with somebody who's being mishandled or mistreated because I've been that. So I'm finna come to the rescue of that. I've got my cape on and everything, but like you said with the young lady in the car, everybody ain't ready. So that was a hard pill for me to swallow.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what you mean you not ready? I learned some tools. I need you to have these tools too, so you won't continue to go through what I've been through. But it's that process.
If I may share with you,
Go ahead.
legally on paperwork, I'm dead.
Wow.
But spiritually, I'm lit for the Lord.
Yes.
Everything you see, is some days I can't walk or get out of bed, but it's a fire in me.
Just
And I
Jesus.
gotta go.
Just
I
Jesus.
gotta go. I have a gift that I wake up and I can feel people being hurt, and I don't know who it is. And
So-
it's scary.
How do you prepare yourself for that?
Scream, no.
Look, only your own truth. If you scream, kick and holler.
But lately, as I'm maturing into the woman God has designed me to be, is I'm asking for clarity, Lord, because this here is terrifying. I don't want to know this, you know. But since you're gifting me with this, reveal it to me. But I have to be patient. I have to be still. So, in doing that, it's beautiful. It's beautiful being patient to receive what God has for you.
Yeah, because I see the glow, the glory. Because it's so much easier just to surrender to His will.
It is.
I mean, but it sounds easy. It's hard because once you say yes, then it's a different level of attack. It's a different level of warfare. And if they would have told me when I got saved, when I got saved, I was under the impression that all that was gonna go away. I didn't know that it was gonna go to a whole nother level. So in it going to that whole nother level, it just taught me long suffering, how to pray And God really showed me how to keep my eyes on him when I wanted to go back to, because that old person is still there.
Yes,
And some
absolutely.
days I just wanna act a donkey. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? Because that was my safe place.
Mhm.
When I had no circumstances and it wasn't I didn't feel consequences, so that was my safe place. So sometimes when God is taking me through that process, even your kids don't understand. You know, trying to explain your process to people is one of the scariest and one of the worst feelings to feel, because people discredit you based on where you at in your process.
Right.
So a lot of times, when I see you, I'll be praying like, what's her warfare like?
Mm.
Cause whom much is given, much is required. So I carry you in my spirit, you know what I'm saying? Because what's her warfare like?
Love language.
Mhm. Let's talk about that.
Love language. Love language in our communities,
Mhm.
if we go to the core, is used as a weapon
Mhm.
to get control. I love you, so I'm gonna leave and be gone and be with this chick, but I love you,
Mhm.
so it's okay.
Mhm.
No, care for me,
Mhm.
assist me, support me as I would you.
Mhm.
That's love.
Mhm.
But that word, a lot of kicks and hits came with that.
Came with that love.
Yeah.
And that's a deep thing, because for me, I feel love is more action. You know, you never have to tell me you love me.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, the way you handle me, the way you treat me, the way you support me, even in my indifferences, even if I could be weak, you know, and because sometimes as women, being strong to me is overrated.
Mm.
And I can't stand when I hear a woman say, well, I'm just strong like that. No, because we weren't made to be strong. We were made to be helpers. It's the man's job to be strong and all of that. That's not our job. So when a strength of a woman becomes the new thing, you know, for me it's not, because I done had to be strong my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Even when I went to therapy, the first thing she said to me was like, oh my God, you're so strong. And I'm like, lady, this is why I'm here,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want to be strong.
Mm-hmm.
It's overrated being strong, so just learning how to be weak, to me, is a strength. When I learned how I didn't have to show up for everybody in every situation, that became my strength, not having to be strong. So how do you feel when people see you as this strong woman, even though you battling your own?
I tell them I'm perfectly imperfect.
Mm-hmm.
I have temporary bouts of insanity, temporary insanity, thinking I could fix things because I don't want to hurt, or I don't want them to hurt, but the reality is I can't. So I have to process those emotions, and it's real heavy to me, even dealing with my children, my family, my loved ones. I love hard
Me too.
because I want.
Mm-hmm.
I love how I love.
So can I ask you, who has helped you on your way to success?
Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Jesus, by my twin.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about your twin.
I'm a crybaby, so forget.
That's fine. We living our truth, so if tears will help you heal, then hey, so be it. You got some tissue?
My twin helped me. She grabbed my hand one day
Mm-hmm.
when I was fighting. I didn't know what it was. She grabbed my hand because she didn't know the side of me. The side that she saw. She grabbed my hand and she was like, twin, before I let anything take you out, I'll take you out. So you need to own it.
Mhm.
Whatever it is, whatever it looks like, whatever it tastes like, whatever it feels like, own it, own it, so we can release it. Don't care, you don't have to carry it anymore. You know, I say hi to you and you bite my head off, you know, you don't have that fight here.
Right.
You know, and it's like, I heard her. I listened. I listened to her. And all my family, all my siblings, all my Robertson siblings, we've all been through different journeys, but we're here. Cause my mother and my father reared us to be unconditional. You may not have to like you.
That's, I think that's a key thing. I don't have to like you to love you. Because we don't, oftentimes we don't, pay attention to behaviors. So it's your behavior that I don't like, you
Right.
know, and then people take it personal. But, some behaviors just ain't acceptable,
Right.
especially around me and certain people. So, even with setting boundaries, when people talk about boundaries, that's a give and take for me. Is there certain things that I'm not gonna accept and I will accept? So even, paying attention to behavior patterns. I think if we start paying attention to that more so than, making a person own what they did in that second or in that minute, just where did that behavior come from?
Right.
Because everything stems from something.
Right.
So instead of, like I often tell people, it's already an inner conflict that's going on inside of me. So what you seen was an out expression, which was me calling out for help. So instead of you coming to help me, what you did was took that incident and ran and made it a negative and then gossip behind it. So in those cases, then you realize when you mature past those type of situations, now I gotta look at what's her root. See, I can't even take it as offense no more because God done delivered me in that area. So now I have to be more mature and say, oh, for her to do that to me, I wonder what's going on with her.
Absolutely. Deflecting.
Yes,
Deflecting.
yes,
And what I've learned in my association with different people, mindfully that they know some of my story. And the love language gets crossed. Because if you show up, I serve you, I support you, I value you. But that love language in their concept, you know, it crossed boundaries.
yes,
And then it's like, when I say, hey, I'd rather have a long working relationship with you than a temporary moment of pleasure.
right.
Been there, done that.
Yeah.
I know what it is. You can't tell me, oh, if we put these ground rules that you know, it's gonna be cool. No. A woman and a man,
Yeah.
You can't.
And you have to be whole to even hold that standard.
Right,
And you gotta be true with yourself.
right.
That's just like me saying I'm sustaining from sex and then you invite me over to watch Netflix in your room. But I look like taking that invitation,
Right,
you know? So we have to be honest and real with ourselves about things.
right.
But we gonna wrap this up. I sure appreciate you.
I appreciate
And I wanted
you.
you on this platform because I know you had a lot to say. So tell the people right there, how can they support Honor My Own Truth? What you need from the community? I mean, just tell them a little about what will help you keep it going.
Well, if you choose to sow a seed, that would be helpful. A seed to nourish that root of life that creates a tree so we can branch off, share shade, share a branch, feed, you know. Honestly, I do trust in God to provide all my needs, but as a grassroots organization, if you feel it in your heart to support us with materials we need, such as hygiene care for homeless encampments, care bags, clothes, shoes, water, hot meals, whatever is on your heart, please schedule a time and date with me 510-677-4746. Robinson Tina 82@gmail.com.
What's your social media page? Give me a social
Owning
media.
my own truth behavior support.
All right, thank you guys for our first, part of, community unity, maintaining healthy relationships. That was my girl Tina Robinson. I'm finna now bring up Janice, she's gonna join us. Janice Franklin, she is a facilitator, relationship facilitator for Bonafide Sisterhood, which is my nonprofit organization out of Antioch, California. And I wanna bring her up, and we're gonna talk about she facilitated a group, and the material that she shared blew my mind, and I just felt that she could, come in and tap in on these sessions and just, talk about relationship compatibility and tools that could be used when you are, seeking relationships. And when we talk about relationships on this platform, it's not just relationships between a man and woman. It's spiritual relationships, it's work relationships, it's community relationships, so all forms of relationships is what, we will be discussing, because the main thing is for us to learn how to interact with each other and, bridge the gap between the division that goes on a lot. So I'm gonna let her tell us a little bit about herself. She's here.
Well, hello. I'm Janice Franklin, and I would say that I'm a journey coach. Now that I'm, based on my experience, I'm focused on trying to help people and couples and families just reach their best self, get through the hard parts as far as dealing with conflicts and disputes, and just dealing with that trauma, so that way we're stopping those curses, those generational curses that keep our families dysfunctional.
Okay. So what have been your biggest learnings from your projects?
So based on what I've experienced and what I've been learning, I've been working in customer service in some kind of form for over 20 years. So I've dealt with all different types of people. And I find that communication is definitely a big issue as far as why we have dysfunction in general. But also it's because we're struggling on the inside. There's a lot of unresolved trauma that each and every one of us are going through at any given time, and that is what is fueling how we communicate with others, especially those that we love and care about. So I definitely want to do what I can based on what I know to help people deal with that, and I'm dealing with it myself.
So based on, me just talking to you, and just watching you develop curriculum and just elevate yourself through a lot of different trainings and workshops, talk about a little bit more about the people that influence you to do the work.
Well, you're definitely one of those people. Cause I mean, you know, just, like I don't know if I could have survived what you've survived, you know? Just like somebody, you know, if I tell my story to somebody else, they would be awestruck, you know? But, people that influence me, I would say, are just those that are really genuine in their purpose, and the fact that they know their purpose is to make others better, and they do it selflessly. So one of the people I would say is, besides you, would be Dave Anderson. He's my business coach, and he is one of the main people that is getting me to break out of the doubt and the fear and really put that value into myself and really bet on my own abilities. And I have a few other people, Stephanie D. McKenzie, my family, I'm work in progress, and I'm just trying to do the best I can every day to get, to realize my purpose.
So where do you see yourself in the next, because like I say, since I've been knowing you, it's been a progress, so I'm not gonna even say the next 5, 3 years. Where do you see yourself next year? Let's just say that. Where do you see it? Based on all the studying and the work that you have accumulated up to this point, where do you see yourself?
I see myself independently working with people to work through that trauma and work through those disputes and conflicts, those struggles that are keeping them from even seeing their own purpose. I'm definitely independent. I'm not working for nobody else because I need to be free to really serve.
Talk about that. Talk about being free, because I think it's a lot of people who feel like that, but they are so married to being employed. You know, so talk about that piece for me.
So, and I'm one of those people. I have been, I'm almost 40, thank God I've made it this far. And I'm one of those programmed to work. My family, that's what I was taught. You get a job, hopefully it's a good job, you can stay at, retire, all that. And I've seen what happens, because once you retire, depending on how good that job was, you may be able to make it, you may not. And of course they don't make those jobs like they used to. They don't care about their employees like they used to. Now you'll be lucky you get that watch after 30 years or whatever, because you get pensions not guaranteed. But being that programming, just like our education, is making us slaves. It's making us prisoners to the system and making us employees. Like, that's what they train and programmed us to do. And once we get out of that, once we realize our own value and realize we don't have to be employees, we can be employers. We can be just servicers. We can be providers, and we don't need outside influence. We just need to figure out what each other needs, how we can help each other and help ourselves, and come together. So freedom to me is breaking that programming. It's breaking those chains that keep us in fear of what's next. Like right now I am trying to get over that fear in order to grasp my freedom. Like, my freedom is there, I see it. But because of that program and that fear and the doubt that society has put on me, I'm struggling, I'm resisting, and it just adds to the other additional struggles that we have just trying to make it every day in this life. So if I'm gonna deal with all life has to give me, I'd rather be free and living on my own terms in order to do that, because then I'm not worried about it. I'll be all right.
So just hearing you talk, it goes back to changing our belief system. And I'm real big. I remember Bishop Johnny Clark did a message about the belief system, and that thing stuck to me like white on rice. And every day something that don't sit with me and it become traditional or something to that extent, I learned how to not force it to fit. And oftentimes we force it to fit. And I remember we was at a workshop and Lady Clark was teaching, and she talked about the turkey. She was talking about how the lady was cut the legs off the turkey and put it in a pot, and the husband was why every time you cook the turkey you cut the legs off, and she was like, I don't know, my mama do that. So then he said, well, call your mama. So when she called her mama like, I don't know, my mama did that. So they try to figure out where did it come from. So eventually they got to the matriarch of the family, And she said, because I cut the legs off of my turkey because my pan was too small to fit the whole turkey. So now we done came generations of doing the same thing that was handed down, never questioned the reason of why. And our generation came out with more of a entrepreneur mindset. Most people in my age era, younger than me, already knew that they couldn't work a 9 to 5. Some did, but it wasn't popular in your family to have a business. So that belief system just, you gotta go to school, you gotta go to college, you gotta go that. Even if you sitting on your dreams. I done seen people send their kids to college and go in debt, and at the end of the day, she done went dead here. But she got a degree in psychology. So a lot of those belief system has to change, and we have to really talk about stuff like that because we be killing our kids on our watch. And because we're trying to force stuff into a society that looks nothing like ours or our parents. So that's a whole nother topic, but we getting close to the end of my first show. So I hope people tuned in, and I hope you guys just excited as I am about Believe Radio. This is a Christian-based radio station. 24 hours a day they have gospel music, so just tune in and soothe your mind. Listen to some new artists from the Bay Area and other places. And I just want to thank y'all, and I want to ask you one more thing. Give me three wishes you have.
3 wishes.
Mm-hmm.
I wish to be fearless.
Mm-hmm.
I wish for peace inside
Mm-hmm. Inner peace.
and genuine connections, because I think that if I can have every interaction I have with somebody, if it's genuine, then I know we'll both
Yes.
be better.
Yes.
So yeah.
All right, thank you all again. You could find me at Nina Carter at Facebook.com, Nina_Bonafide Sisterhood on Instagram, and if you want to be a part of what we have going on here at Believe Radio, you could email me at believeradioninac@gmail.com. Thank you all for joining us. We appreciate each and every one of you. If you got some products you want me to promote on here, or you have some events going on, holla at your girl. All right, Coach Carter, we out.
Lead me, Sheila. Praise God. Right there,
Okay, so I gotta
my
get
praise.
Man.